I spent 32 years in the airline industry, and I'm telling you, it's almost never the big things that catch older travelers off guard. It's the small ones nobody bothered to explain. So today, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most common mistakes travelers over 60 make at airport security here in the United States, and how to sail through instead. And before we begin, let me put your mind at ease. None of this is complicated. You don't need to be tech savvy, you don't need to memorize a rulebook, and you certainly don't need to feel nervous walking up to that checkpoint. You just need to know a few things the airport never bothers to tell you. So take a breath, and let's go through them together. The first mistake, and it's the one I see the most, is taking your shoes off out of habit. For years, we all did it. Shoes off, into the bin, shuffling through in our socks. But here's what changed, and this is important. Back in July of 2025, the TSA officially ended the shoe removal rule for everyone, at every age, at standard checkpoints across the country. Those new scanners can see right through your shoes now, so you can keep them on. And yet every single day, I watch older travelers bend down and start untying their laces, purely out of old habit, slowing themselves down and straining their back for no reason at all. Now, I'll always be honest with you. If the scanner alarms, or if they're running a random enhanced screening, they may still ask. But for the everyday traveler, those days of wrestling with your shoes are over. Walk up with your shoes on and stand tall. The second mistake is a quiet one, and it costs seniors comfort and time every single day. Not knowing the special rights you have once you turn 75. If you are 75 or older, this is official TSA policy, not a favor and not a courtesy. You are allowed to keep your shoes and your light jacket on during standard screening. And if that metal detector happens to beep, you're entitled to a second pass through before they ever move to a pat-down. But nobody announces this. Nobody hands you a card at the door. So millions of qualifying seniors go through the slower, more stressful process every single year, simply because no one ever told them they had another option. Now you know, and knowing is the first easy win at any checkpoint. The third mistake can turn a happy trip into a genuine emergency, so please listen closely. It's mishandling your medications. I've seen 2 versions of this, and both cause trouble. Before we continue, let me share something quickly. Growing older doesn't mean that air travel has to feel harder on your nerves or heavier on your wallet. In fact, airlines offer plenty of perks that often go unnoticed: complimentary services, better seats, help getting through the airport, and small tricks that make the whole journey smoother. Things many older travelers don't even realize are available to them. I've gathered the best of these insider tips into a book called The Confident Senior Traveler. That's the only time I'll mention it, but if it sounds useful, you'll find the link in the description below. The first is packing your medicine in your checked bag. Never do that. If your suitcase gets delayed or lost, and it happens, your blood pressure pills or your heart medication don't come back when you need them. Always, always keep your medications in your carry-on, right where you can reach them. The second version is bringing medications that aren't clearly labeled. The TSA can't verify a loose handful of pills in an unmarked bottle, and that can lead to extra screening, delays, or in the worst case, having them taken away. So keep them labeled, keep them in your carry-on, and if you've got a liquid medication larger than the usual limit, that's perfectly allowed. Just separate it out and tell the officer it's a medical necessity. The fourth mistake follows right along from that, and it's about medical devices. If you travel with oxygen or a respiratory device or any medical equipment, it needs to be screened before you go through the checkpoint. Now here's the reassuring part. If your oxygen can't be disconnected, you don't have to struggle. You simply tell the officer, and they'll arrange an alternate inspection for you. The same goes for anything that makes it hard to stand or walk for long. The mistake isn't having these devices, It's staying quiet about them and hoping to just get through. Don't stay quiet. A calm word to the agent turns a stressful moment into a smooth one. The fifth mistake is not making one simple phone call before you leave home. There's a wonderful service almost nobody talks about called TSA Cares. If you have a medical condition, a disability, or you just know you'll need a little extra help at security, you can call them at least 72 hours before your flight, and they'll arrange for support to be ready when you arrive. The travelers I've seen have the smoothest, calmest time at security are almost always the ones who made that call ahead. So write this down. The number is 855-787-2227. 3 days before you fly, one short phone call, and your entire checkpoint experience changes. The sixth mistake is skipping TSA PreCheck because you figure the regular line is good enough. Now, I understand the thinking, especially if you're 75 and already have some of those exemptions. But let me tell you what PreCheck really gives an older traveler, because it's not just about your shoes. The hardest part of security for most seniors isn't the screening itself. It's standing in a slow, winding standard line for 20, 30, even 40 minutes before you ever reach the front. Every item you remove is a task, bending, unzipping, lifting, and then doing it all in reverse. PreCheck lets you skip most of that. I'll be straight with you. There's no senior discount. The fee is the same for everyone. But if you fly even a couple of times a year, the comfort it buys your back and your nerves is worth every penny. And the seventh mistake, the last one, is the gentlest and maybe the most important: being too proud or too shy to ask for help. I watched so many dignified older travelers struggle in silence when help was right there for the asking. If you need it, you can ask any TSA officer to call for a passenger support specialist. That's a person whose whole job is to answer your questions and walk you through calmly and quickly. And if you're tired during an extra screening, if your legs are aching, you are absolutely allowed to ask to sit down. There is no shame in any of it. In all my years, the travelers who asked for what they needed were never the ones who looked weak. They were the ones who moved through that airport with the most grace. So there they are, the 7 mistakes. And do you notice what nearly all of them have in common? Not one is about being frail or old or behind the times. Every single one comes down to simply not being told the truth about what you're allowed to do. The rules changed, and nobody sent you the memo. Well, consider this your memo. Keep your shoes on. Know your rights at 75. Guard your medications. Speak up about your devices. Make that one phone call. Consider PreCheck. And never ever be afraid to ask for a hand. Do those things, and that checkpoint stops being something you dread and becomes something you walk through with your head held high, because you've earned that ease. You've been traveling your whole life. It's about time the airport treated you like it. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. We would also be happy to hear about your experience with the topic discussed in this video. By sharing your experience in the comments, you may help other people too. Follow our channel for more useful and easy-to-follow videos. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.